What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Corner Podcast. Kel Dansby here, and I am back. Finally. Took a week off. First time, I think, in the 9-year history of this podcast. It was my birthday. Shout out to my wife. She took me out for my birthday. We had a nice little trip. It was dope. Um, didn't work too hard, but still worked a little bit because Tyson Fury was fighting while I was gone. So covered that fight, did everything there. That was really fun. I think this is like the second straight year where I get sick on my birthday. So I was sick my entire birthday and a little bit of the day after, which is a little whack. But shout out to everyone who said happy birthday, all the well wishes, all that stuff. And now we're back. Time to talk combat sports. Yesterday, I was in full dad mode. Graduation. My daughter graduated from high school, my oldest. And so that was really dope. Um, I've been in graduation mode for a while, though. My stepdaughter just graduated 2 weeks ago from her post college, associates program and all that shit. So I've just been going. It is nice to sit here and talk to you guys again, get back to normalcy. But I must say, the old man is right from time to time about a few things. Every now and then he has a gem of wisdom. And I feel like taking time completely off, no working, no jobs, no nothing, like 2 or 3 times a year is going to be mandatory. Because even a little bit of work is too much work when you just want to be out doing nothing for your birthday.
Yeah, I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you just want to take the time off. The shit ain't going nowhere. It's work.
It really ain't.
Like I don't. I told you from day one. You have time, use it. They ain't gonna miss you. What they gonna do? Fire you for taking a day off that you earned?
No, right?
What are you? What are you doing?
It was hubris at the highest level of, oh, I cover these fights. It's a fight. I'm probably gonna watch it. I had honestly, if it wasn't for covering, I wouldn't have watched it. Um, I could have gone without it and watched it when I got back or on the plane, and I would have been fine just to do this podcast. But I had everything set up to watch it and everything. And then I think it aired at 6. I was sick by 3 p.m. and it was a wrap. Really didn't pay attention to it much anyway. And it ended up being worse off because I had to tell people last second, like, yo, I'm a wrap. And they had to do a bunch of shit. I had to do some stuff and it was just chaos. So yeah, backfired on all accounts. Next time, I'm out. Sorry, yo, everybody, you guys are good. I'm out.
What were you trying to gain by working
I don't
on your
try to gain
birthday on
anything.
vacation? You gain it. You doing it for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. What do you think you're getting out of this?
I just always do it. I'm a creature of habit. And
For
it's
what?
just like I don't I don't mind working. It never bothers me. So I work and I work a lot and I work damn near every day. Cause if not, what else would I do? Like it's just
Take a vacation.
downtime. And I did.
You were on vacation working. Not me.
Makes no sense. No
Makes zero
sense
sense. You
at all.
you
So
you got to take time off, man. Job is a job is a job. Them shits ain't going nowhere.
they really aren't. They all come back around. It's perfectly fine. Nobody would have missed me. So I think my next vacation is planned for my wife's birthday in September. So we'll be past all in, past all out. It's the weekend after Canelo. If he keeps his weekend.
He's not going to keep that weekend.
You don't think he'll go head to head against UFC?
I
No
mean, he
chance
can.
UFC?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Oh, I think
No,
I
if he fights Edgar Berlanga, it's not a good idea.
in New York, I think it'll happen. It'll be an MSG fight. And you'll
Ain't
be
nobody
out of the
buying that.
city.
Ain't nobody buying that.
Do people buy anything anymore?
Yes.
Allegedly, Fury versus Usyk was streamed God knows how many times in bootleg.
Yeah, I
People
ain't buying all that
complaining.
shit. I'm just saying, if I got to go up against the UFC and they're going to be at the Sphere on Mexican Independence Day, and I ain't fighting David Benavidez, what am I doing? Canelo ain't. He's goofy, man. Like there ain't no way I can see.
Just,
It's stupid. Like, why go head to head with the UFC on a weekend that you don't have to? Especially considering the fact that Canelo has skipped Mexican Independence Day for a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks, couple of years, and then done it later in the year anyway. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's worse things that can happen with than him not fighting on that holiday. Really, like what's the harm if you skip it? I feel like Cinco de Mayo's kind of been more of his holiday. It's summertime, it's warm, fans come out. That kind of is like traditionally his Vegas fight. That makes a lot of sense. But without that, it's like I I, I hope it's not the same week I'm going out town because I'm gonna miss it. It is what it is. There'll always be another fight.
Yes, there
Stuff
will
don't slow
always
down.
be another goddamn fight. There will always be another day. Work is work. It ain't
Yeah.
going on.
So I only, have to get sick on so many paid vacations before I say maybe when I vacate, I just got to vacate. Maybe my
Yeah,
body's like, you can only do so much fun, work, and everything in one day. You are not at home. What the hell is going on?
exactly.
So, yeah, my next time I will do that. In the meantime, I feel like coming up, I'm only really traveling for work stuff. So, Jake Paul fight, I'll be at maybe SummerSlam, even though there's something else that night. I don't know if
Terrence
I'll be at
Crawford.
SummerSlam or Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, that's the same day.
Terrence Crawford's easy because that's LA. SummerSlam is a trek, but SummerSlam is going to be dope.
I don't know what SummerSlam is yet. We'll have to figure that out because they haven't. Yeah, I don't know. But I know that Crawford Majimov card is big. You got Zoo versus Virgil Ortiz. Like that card, if Deontay wins, he's on that card. That August 3rd card is loaded.
Yeah, it's if Deontay versus Big Baby, Jared Anderson is on there, then that's card is nuts. Which I still doubt that's Wilder's next fight.
We'll
With
see.
AJ kind of being open to fighting still, with we'll talk about here in a second, boxing wise. Um, Fury, Usyk looking like they're still headed towards a rematch. We're as close as that fight was. They're all still in good positions, and they're all at the age where it's like, yo, we just got to eat off each other. And we got a couple big paydays to go and fight a 26-year-old, 25-year-old that could mollywop you and make his name off you. That's probably not the smartest decision.
Probably not.
So I doubt we get the and Francis Ngannou who's still somewhere, hanging around. He's grieving at the moment, but if and when he comes back to the sport of boxing, that's still another opponent out there. The old guard of the heavyweight division is eating and making money. So to give some to a young pup out there, I'd be thoroughly shocked. But that all leads us to fights this past weekend. It was Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, first undisputed champion in over 20 years of the heavyweight division. And the fight week, and we can start just going through a little bit of fight week. Outside of the headbutt by Big John, it was kind of like anticlimactic of a fight week. There was a
Yeah, I
lot of
mean,
respect between these two guys.
sure. What did you expect?
Tyson Fury's antics.
Nah, he knew what he was in for. He knew it. He knew what he was in for.
Oh, you
He
can
knew
tell that by the weight.
yes.
He looked great. Usyk bulked up. I mean, they took this as seriously as they've taken a fight in recent memory. No disrespect to AJ.
There was no reason for antics. There was no reason for trash talk. They knew they were in a fight, especially Tyson Fury. Even though he might not have acted like it during the fight, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I wasn't surprised it was this uneventful fight week. I didn't expect them to do a whole lot of trash talking to each other. Like only Usyk's all he's ever done is challenge Tyson Fury. Come on, Belly, where are you at? That's basically all Usyk did. Now he's got the fight. Ain't nothing else to say.
Yeah.
The fight sells itself. It's in Saudi Arabia. They're getting paid. They ain't got to sell this fight. They just had to show up.
And yeah, don't get a cut in training. Don't do anything stupid. Just show up. And show up they did. So we get to the fight night. The fight card itself was pretty good leading up to the main fight. I was shocked. Like the fights for it not being as stacked as the June card coming up. or the Crawford August card. On paper, it wasn't those.
No.
It wasn't even this Gervonta card coming up in mid June. But all that being said, it was it was pretty cool. Like I thought the action was there, everything. It set the table for Fury and Usyk, and then they come out. Usyk's entrance is amazing. It looks he looks like $1 million, and you look there, and it's hard to say like, yo, okay, these aren't the two best heavyweights of this generation. And I think the bell rings, and we see that they're the two best heavyweights of this generation. And they did what they were supposed to do. It seems as though you didn't like Tyson Fury's antics, but I think it helped win him. It helped win him a few rounds by styling on Usyk with those style points, and I think the cards at the end showed it. Mixed in with some good boxing, the body punches, and the body work was the key. And we've seen Usyk get hit to body, and it was like one of those things where it's like, well, if we're gonna hurt him, we'll slow him down. That's our chance, really. And but Fury mixed in uppercuts, and he looked really good through 6 or 7 rounds. And then Usyk, he's an animal. He withstands all of it. And when he turns up the pressure and he was able to close that space, I would love to hear him talk, and we'll probably get it during the rematch, of that mid-fight adjustment of how did you figure out how to close that space? Because every time he did it early in the fight, he ate an uppercut. And he then figured out, okay, I just got to do this. And then that left hand was wailing and landing, and Fury had no answer for it until the 12th, where Fury figures out how to not get hit by it, but it's too late.
I told you how long ago that Alexander Usyk was going to be Tyson Fury?
A while ago, but this was close. You're
happen.
acting like it was.
No,
this
no,
was this
I'm
was
just
as
saying,
close as it gets.
It's pretty close, but the problem is like I told you, Usyk operates on a different level.
Yeah,
Tyson
this was
Fury's
a draw. Besides that knockdown,
Tyson Fury's good. He's one of the best heavyweights of our generation, but Usyk is different. I told you before the fight got made, the size didn't matter.
yep.
I told you this is skill, and Usyk's one of the most skilled boxers on the planet today.
But that's
I
to
didn't
say,
like
like Tyson was matching the skill and barely dodging and rolling with the punches until he wasn't. It was Roy Jones esque to me in the second half of the fight, where the first half of the fight was everything's nearly missing, and then the second half of the fight was, oh, those reaction times slowed down a bit, and your ass is getting caught.
I think in the rematch, Usyk defeats Fury more definitively. Like
I think we're in for a trilogy.
I don't.
I don't. And it's hard to say Fury doesn't get caught because Fury gets caught in every fight, and then his ability to withstand and come back is just Tyson Fury-esque. But everyone puts him down or drops him.
This is the worst Fury's ever been hurt in a fight.
No,
Ever. By far.
You know that's not true.
Who hurt him worse?
The Deontay Wilder Undertaker
Bullshit.
get up from the grave.
Hurt. I'm not talking about like knocked down. I'm talking about hurt.
It wasn't even enough. He shrugged it off a little bit and then got back to boxing.
No.
This
Fury
took him 2 or 3 rounds to shake the shit off.
Fury got dropped by Deontay, got up, rose like the Undertaker, and then won the rest of the round.
He did.
He was cooked. They could have stopped the fight. They could have called a knockdown on 3 different occasions. The ropes held him up on 3 different occasions in that round.
No, definitely.
In other fights, if there was a different referee, they would have stopped the fight. Like Fury was done. Wilder didn't hurt him that bad. Wilder dropped him. Fury got up every time and was fully recovered. You can't tell me that after the damage, if there was another minute left on the clock, Fury would have got stopped. Guaranteed he would have got stopped. The problem with Tyson Fury and his antics were he acted nervous. He acted like somebody who was showing out to make up for his concern about his opponent. He called him a middleweight. He called him every name in the book building up to this fight. And I said it from the beginning. He knows better. Like he's treating him like he's not good. But Usyk, what he did to Anthony Joshua was not because Anthony Joshua was not good, because Alexander Usyk is that much better than the rest of the field. Like, we're looking at a talent. These Ukrainian fighters are just different. They got steel chins. They are formidable punchers. They understand how to make in-fight adjustments. They're different. Fury's a great fighter, but there's several questions. How much did those Deontay fights take out of him? We don't
Yeah.
know. And him coming in light as he did for an opponent who he's called a middleweight tells you that he treated this fight differently. Like he knew what he was in for.
He knew that to
So
go 12. He knew it.
Everything he said, I felt was that's hubris. Everything he said, calling him a middleweight, like everything, it was all ego. The showboating was all ego, was the cover up that he was concerned with what was coming at him. He was genuinely concerned. Like when he was, I think round 2, he backs up into the corner and tries to do the Ali thing, and Usyk's like, man, fuck all that. We fighting.
Yeah, he didn't take the bait.
He never took the bait.
Was like, yo, I'll just wait.
Never took the bait. He was like, yo, we fight. You talked all this shit. Let's fight. Why are you playing? Yes, it was absolutely a close fight. But that knockdown, I've never seen Fury that hurt, that damaged in his entire career. Fury gets dropped. Fury doesn't get hurt. Like, when's the last time you saw Fury reeling from a punch? He just goes down.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't. That's the biggest thing here is that Usyk was so smart that the benefit Tyson Fury's had against everyone else is he goes to the ground, he takes the full 8, he breathes, he gets up just in time. That allows the ref to then continue, and he's up and are you okay? Are you all right? And the whole rigmarole of it is 15, 16 seconds of a break physically for Tyson Fury. This one, Usyk was like, I'm not letting you hit the ground. Every time where it looked like he could, he trapped him against the rope, Boom, barrage. Fury tried to circle left on his ass. There was no resetting to the middle ring, so I can even let you fall.
No, it was his ass up.
That's it. And it's a barrage. Either this guy behind me is stopping it because I'm throwing a million punches, or I'm putting your ass through the ropes and we're going to have a count. But you ain't going to be laying comfortably, and I'm not going to make a bed for you in this ring.
My biggest argument against Tyson Fury is, who has he beat outside of Deontay Wilder? It's always been my big argument. I was like, look.
Klitschko is who he beat.
Yeah, he beat Klitschko, right?
Yes, when no one else beat Klitschko. That's always his argument.
Yeah, and that was a great win. It was an ugly win, but it was a great win. Joshua knocked him out not too long later.
Yep.
But then you look at the rest of Fury's resume, it's not bad. I'm not saying that. Dillian White, Derek Chisora, Safari.
It wasn't a all-time great heavyweight class for a long time, until
no, because Joshua has a better resume than Fury. I've said that from day one. Joshua has a better resume.
No, now they've fought all the same people.
No, they haven't. Tyson Fury hasn't fought Andy Ruiz.
Joshua hasn't fought Wilder 3 times.
No, but that's the only name that Tyson Fury's had on his resume outside of Klitschko, right? So like, Joshua fought Dillian White when he was still a killer. Joshua fought Joseph Parker. Like, Joshua has fought everybody that was ranked highly in the heavyweight division. Fury hadn't. Yeah. Partially because he took all that time off. Doesn't make him a bad fighter. It's just that he hasn't seen enough elite competition. Because you can say, if you really wanted to, you could say, Deontay Wilder is just a big puncher. He's not like an elite talent.
Sure. But then we get into this fight, and lo and behold, it turns out that the man loses to Usyk because of the one standing 8 count. Everything else, he took a card, and then he lost on another, and it was a split 6-6 fight, except for the standing 8. So it's not like, all of that being said, it's not like this wasn't as close of a loss as you can have. This is the smallest and razorest of thin margins possible in boxing to lose by, to outright lose.
I don't know how the one judge had Fury winning 15-13 or 15-13. I don't know how he had that.
It was 14-13.
14. I don't know how he had that, but whatever. I think the rounds Usyk won were pretty clear. This was one of those fights where I don't think anybody left that fight going, Fury won this fight. I think everybody was pretty confident that Usyk was going to win this fight. But the fact of the matter is, Usyk won. He is now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He has beaten the best, two of the best heavyweights in the world. And
Yeah,
yeah, Fury's gonna get his rematch. I just don't know if Fury can make the proper adjustments to beat Usyk in a rematch. I think Usyk seeing Fury now and dealing with him, and now it's like the unknowns are more for Usyk than they are for Fury. For Usyk, it was like, how big is he? How hard
yeah.
can he punch? Is he going to use his weight? Can I hurt him? Fury's naturally the bigger man. I don't think he has like a ton of questions. I think he was a lot more surprised. Oh, this
Yeah.
fucker could punch, right?
Yeah. He's
Because
still
Usyk,
here.
yeah,
And
Usyk.
Usyk ate a lot of big fucking punches.
I mean, like Joshua hurt Usyk when they fought in the first fight.
Yep.
Like Joshua hurt him. Fury didn't hurt Usyk at any point in this fight.
Oh no, Fury hit him with the uppercut in the 6th round that had him like this. I posted that shit today.
I mean, being buzzed and like being hurt are just very two different things. And
Okay. He
I don't
wasn't to the gut hurt
no, he
like
wasn't.
he was
But
in the one fight against Dubois.
I mean, that was a low blow. But
Okay.
nevertheless, nevertheless, the thing I don't know if Fury knows how to make these adjustments now because once you lose,
Yeah.
some people don't know how to learn from losing. When Fury says, the judges gave him a decision because he's in a war-torn country. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the judges ain't thinking about that shit.
I think when the cameras were off and they released the footage today, it's a completely different reaction.
Sure, it was a horrible thing for Tyson Fury to say
Yeah.
on
He
camera.
thinks he's
Like,
just selling the next fight.
that ain't selling shit. It's in bad taste.
I
Nevertheless,
agree with you, but what the fuck else can you say? There's nothing else bad
I
you could say about
lost.
this man. No,
Just
he's
say
gonna say, I watched the film back. I won more rounds than him. He dropped me. I think I won that fight.
like, bro, the thing is, Usyk won the early rounds, and then Fury came on strong in the middle. And then, well, it was like 50-50 in the early rounds. But then when that fight changed, it changed. And I
Oh,
wonder if they have a rematch, how much of same thing happened with Joshua in the first fight. When you get hurt by the smaller man that you don't think can hurt you, how do you approach the rematch?
yeah.
Because now
Are you
you know,
timid?
yeah, like this dude can actually hurt me because you don't expect it. Joshua
Mhm.
did not expect for Usyk to be pouring it on in the 11th and 12th rounds like he did. And in the rematch, Joshua fought a different fight. I don't know. Like Tyson Fury's never been hurt like this. He's been dropped, but he knew against Deontay Wilder, I can get up from this.
Yep.
Like he took a lot of risks. One, because Deontay's just a super crude fighter, so he can lean on him. He can outbox him. Like he knows he's better than him in just about every area except for power. That's it. But with Usyk, skill for skill, he's like, damn, he's too smaller than me. Like, I got 30 pounds on him, and he
Yeah.
hurt me.
Man, strong as an ox.
It don't make any sense, man. Usyk's now the best fighter in the world. I've enjoyed watching people have arguments about the pound for pound conversation.
Yeah,
It's Usyk. There is
it is
no
not.
argument. Get the fuck out of here.
And
Who's the
I
number one
thought
pound
it
for pound
would
for
be. I thought it
who?
would be.
Who?
Terrence Crawford, I will maintain this, did
No.
not win a split decision in his second, undisputed title fight. And we're talking moving up weight classes. Yes, it's not cruiser to heavy. There's no
No.
gap like that.
No.
But I mean, that's the nature of the beast when you're that damn big. But the man wasn't in one weight division his entire life. He was a guy who was 135, moved up to beat a guy at 147, who was the biggest guy at 147, damn near 154 just on the walk around. And so he had been undisputed already at 140, 147, one for undisputed again. And that shit wasn't a 1 point split decision. Let's run this back in October because this shit, people say what they want, but it's not like you can rule Tyson Fury out completely. He had good rounds. The scorecards, it's a little hard to give him the fight, in my opinion, because of that 9th round and the 10th. But he wasn't out of fight, and I think he won the 12th. So it's one of those things where it was a good fight. It was a close fight. Terrence Crawford, and I explained this to you several times, doesn't have close fight. When he wants to beat the brakes off someone, he beats the brakes off someone. And Errol Spence, for whatever it's worth, the man was number 3 pound for pound in the world when he got annihilated by Terrence Crawford.
I agree that Terrence Crawford is the best fighter in the world, but the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now is Alexander Usyk. We, as much as I love Errol Spence, we never call him the best welterweight of our generation.
No, we have
Fury,
Floyd.
Tyson Fury has
Yeah.
been widely recognized as the greatest heavyweight of this era and possibly any era.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
And we talk about weight classes. Yeah, Crawford moved up and fought Errol Spence, but he didn't give up 30 pounds, Errol Spence.
No, but that's everyone who fights Fury.
I'm just saying. I mean, this is what pound for pound is. Alexander Usyk came from cruiserweight, moved up to heavyweight, fought the biggest fucking guys in the division.
Yeah.
Not only beat, he hurt them. He hurt them.
I understand what you're saying. It's just no one else necessarily has the opportunity because that's the only division that lends itself to being able to fight someone 30 pounds bigger than you. There's no other division where you could prove that.
It ain't Usyk's fault that he just beat up a man that was 30 pounds heavier.
It's not, but I'm just saying that's an anomaly for that division. That's like saying Holyfield was better than like, I don't fucking know, Sweet Pea or someone like when Holyfield won.
I mean,
it's just one of those things where it's just like, yes, he can move up to heavy and he beat the shit out of Tyson and he went on a great run, blah, blah. Of course, he had a loss, so the comparison isn't the same. But it's one of those things where it's just like, yo, at that time, pound for pound, if you wanted to put him up there, it's like, okay, because he's beating up guys a lot bigger than him. He just happens to be a small guy in that division. No, Sweet Pea or someone else around that time doesn't have that chance. De La Hoya or whoever it may be.
That's not Usyk's fault. The biggest argument,
Crawford, go up right now to light heavy. Light heavy is kind of shitty. Go up to light heavy. Let's see if you grab a belt.
No. If Terrence Crawford were to beat Canelo, I mean, the thing that's holding Terrence Crawford back is inactivity. That's it. That's my argument against Terrence Crawford right now. He's not active. Alexander Usyk is active.
He's not that active. He waited a long time for this fight.
He's more active than Terrence Crawford.
Terrence
Crawford's fought once a year for the last 4 years.
Yes, a lot of people are.
Like, there's a difference. Me saying Terrence Crawford's the best fighter on the planet versus Usyk is the best pound for pound fighter right now. Crawford could very well be the next the best pound for pound fighter in the world if he's active. But it's not his fault. It's not his fault. The Spence rematch didn't play out like it was supposed to. Nobody really wants to see it anyway. He's fighting Madrimov, which is like cool, even though a lot of people won't give him credit for this opponent because he's got 11 fights. Nobody really knows who he is, but he's good. Like, Madrimov on August 3rd is a very good opponent for Terrence Crawford, but people ain't gonna give him that credit. He has to beat Canelo Alvarez or somebody on the pound for pound list at 54. And I don't know if he's going to get that opportunity. Alexander Usyk is now the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 25 years and was undisputed at cruiserweight. Yeah, he's the best fighter. He's the best pound for pound fighter in the world right now. Him, Terrence, Inoue, 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3 is pretty.
Yes,
but pretty clear cut.
It's Usyk, Crawford, Inoue. Crawford can reclaim a spot by fighting. Yeah. That's really all it is. But what Alexander Usyk has managed to do,
Tyson Fury could win the second fight, and
he could. But I've seen people say, "Well, why isn't Tyson Fury on the pound for pound list?" It's really hard for heavyweights to be on the pound for pound list. It's not fair. It's just the way it is.
I had him on mine, but I get it. You can't move.
Hard. Yeah, it's like there's nowhere for you to go, especially when you do have a 30-pound weight advantage against your opponents.
Now you're just beating the shit out of smaller guys.
Yeah, you're kind of a bully, and it's not fair. It's just the way the ball bounces. Usyk's tiny. It's a small. He was a cruiserweight that moved up to heavyweight, and
that man filled out though. He looked great.
He looked great, but he was still small. Like, he was still quite small. But there is, to me, Usyk's the best pound for pound fighter in the world, and I really don't think there's much of an argument until Terrence Crawford fights again.
That's fine. And your perception of pound for pound, MMA and boxing, was always, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
It's not who has the greater resume or who's the greatest currently, like skill wise. It's just who has the best resume today. If you take a loss, your resume takes a hit. If you beat someone who's very astronomically great and an all timer, then you jump. So I understand that. I think that's something where um, the rematch is going to be interesting. My physically, I think this is a flip of the coin matchup. I can see Tyson Fury winning that, and we're having a trilogy. Selfishly, I just love trilogies in boxing. A heavyweight trilogy would be a great way for both of these guys to really put their stamp on this generation. But I can also see Usyk winning and Fury just saying, "Fuck it, man. Like maybe it's just me and Joshua. That's my last fight. What are you doing, AJ? I lost to him twice. You lost to him twice. You on a roll, but let's just get it in. Let's just see who the second best is at this point.
Yeah.
Let's just see who number two is. So I can see that happening as well, and that's going to be fun in that direction. We're a week away from having an undisputed. No, well, we're supposed to have an undisputed champion in another division, but injury took that out of it. Artur Beterbiev. It looks like we're not getting an undisputed champion until much later in the year in that division, which sucks because that's a fight we've all been wanting to see for a long time. So that's a new opponent, new headliner on June 1st. And then this weekend, just on a quick preview, we have the equivalent of a wrestling blood feud where Catterall has been waiting this whole time. And it's just like, all right, all right, I'll wait. Okay, I'll wait. And it was promises and there's no belts. And Catterall's like, you know what? Fuck it. I still want to whip Josh Taylor's ass. I don't care what Teofimo did to him. I don't care that he's vacated every championship. I don't care that I probably should have been, at the very least, George Kambosos,
Yep.
money wise, headlining shit in my own country and had 3 fights. Devin Haney would have fought me for a big payday. Tio might have fought me for a big payday. Whoever wanted these belts, Ryan could have came and fought me with a rematch clause. You cost me about $40 million. That's enough most of the time. I want to whoop your ass, and he keeps choking the man. So that's
Yeah.
that's wildly disrespectful.
It's a good fight, man. I don't know what Josh Taylor has left. Like I don't
It, it
know.
looked it's looked shaky
It has. He hasn't looked great in his like past, was that 4 fights now?
since Catterall, right? That was the first
Yes,
time
it's
he
the first
slipped
category.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He just hasn't looked quite right.
No.
Catterall's arrows pointing up, Taylor's arrows pointing down. Taylor, 4 years ago, clearly the more skilled fighter. So I don't know if he has it in him anymore. But that's going to be a good fight. I'm going to watch that this weekend. But
Has he
when you
missed
mentioned
his
yours,
window real quick?
who
Like
Josh?
Taylor
Yes,
to the window to move up. Because it's
yes,
not often we talk about like he stayed down because it was a money fight and drained his body and the Teal fight was there and all this shit. And it was a bigger payday. And now it's like, what's at 147 for him? And is it just too late? Like,
it is.
will the chin never recover? Will the skills never recover because you stayed down?
I don't think he's that good anymore. Like the
Life comes
opportunity
at
to,
you fast like that. Like,
yeah,
geez.
like the opportunity to move up, like when he should have done it was about 2 years ago. He's been weight draining himself to make 140, and now he's been touched up a few times and styled on. And you have to make a decision. You going up to like I think he's going to lose the Catterall this weekend. And even if he wins, I don't think he'll look great doing it. But if you got to jump up to 47, I'm not very confident how good he looks at 47. I think the Josh Taylor window is almost closed to
Oh,
be like a decent competitor. So we'll see. I'm just what T.O. did to him, like when it rains, it pours. You start losing fights, you just can't get your mojo back. I'm not very confident in Josh Taylor. Who I am confident in, though, is Vasily Lomachenko. what he did to George Kambosos 2 weeks ago, I think it's this. There's this very strange conversation about Vasily Lomachenko. They say, I see the comments and they're like, but he's lost. How is he on the pound for pound list? And he's underachieved. And I'm like, y'all do realize he's been fighting like 2 weight classes higher for the past couple of years, right? He's fighting way above his weight. And you can say that he's underachieved or he shouldn't have lost to Salido. And anybody watched the Salido fight knew that Salido weight bullied him and then low blow, fouled him to death very early in his career. There is a world where Vasily Lomachenko takes the Gervonta Davis path and he's like 30-0 with 28 knockouts, right? But that's not what he did. He stayed in the amateurs for a very long time, made his pro debut, ran straight for a title, got it. Lost to Teofimo in a fight where, even though Teo looked great, the argument has always been, Vasily waited a little bit too long. He was a little bit too arrogant in how he approached that fight. And it cost him. Because as well as Teo fought, Vasily was on that ass in rounds 11 and 12, right?
Yeah.
Waited too long. The Devin Haney fight. I had
Thought he
Devin
won.
winning. But I'm saying, I had Devin winning, but if Vasily would have won that fight, I don't think anybody would have been like, oh, you got robbed. It looked like a robbery for most people the other way around. I don't think anybody would have complained if Vasily won. Vasily gets to Kambosos. People ask, what does he have left? He tortures this man. Like, he finishes him. Devin couldn't do it. Teo obviously couldn't do it. Vasily does.
Yep.
I know Vasily's older, but when I look at these pound for pound lists, it's a little frustrating because it's not that I don't like Gervonta. It's really hard for me to see Gervonta like 8 on a pound for pound list when I think Teo has a better resume. Right?
He does, but people dock him for that loss. And I think the loss now, I feel like the majority of people in boxing took that Kriegel report and took everything and then rewatched the fight with their own eyes and said, yeah, the man had a horrible bout of COVID and damn near lost the lung or his life. Like, he's come back and kind of shown what he is.
But it's frustrating because, like, Amanda Nunes had the same issue against Juliana Pena in the first fight. For all you non-boxing fans out there, you know what I'm talking about in MMA. Pena chokes out Amanda. Amanda's just gassed. I think it was the third round. Just completely gassed out. I interviewed her later. She was like, hey, I couldn't fucking breathe. And then she goes out there and absolutely annihilates Juliana Pena in the rematch. Teo and Kambosos, yeah, Teo's compromised. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, he was compromised against Kambosos. Nevertheless, Teo has a win over Lomachenko. Yeah. I don't know what Gervonta's biggest win is that it comes remotely close to beating Lomachenko or Josh Taylor.
Those 2 wins, yeah, he shouldn't be above it.
So
that's 2. That's being an undisputed champion and then beating the undisputed champion. But the only reason he's not a 2-division undisputed champion is because both are highly contested. Devin Haney had a belt that was given to him because Loma would have fight him. But Loma was, if there was a lineal WBC champion, that was Loma.
Correct.
So Teo would be undisputed. And Josh Taylor just said, fuck you sanctioning bodies. I'm keeping 1 belt. Everyone else can have them all and fight for them, but never lost anything. And Teo fought him. He didn't wait like 2 years after. Teo fought him like right away. Where if Josh could have just held the belts, Teo would have been 2-division undisputed.
So I have a problem with those pound for pound lists because of that reason. I still think Teofimo Lopez belongs on a pound for pound list.
I agree.
Gervonta being at, I don't think Gervonta should be above Bam Rodriguez. That's just my personal opinion on quality of resume. Bam Rodriguez has a great resume. It's not that Tank doesn't have the talent. It's just the opposition doesn't match up. And I look at Vasily Lomachenko, all he's done is fought high quality opponents. That's all he's done. Like, and the reason why I brought up Teo is they both fought Jermaine Ortiz. Teo just looked like shit against Jermaine Ortiz. We know Jermaine is tough. Lomachenko beat him, didn't look bad doing it. Lomachenko's in a spot right now
Jermaine
where
Ortiz gave Lomachenko hell too, though.
he did. No,
Where
I'm
people
not
are
saying
like,
he
yo, this
didn't.
kid's pretty good.
He's good.
But it
And
didn't look like the Tio fight where
like
Tio was
Tio
just
looked
like
bad in that fight. Like Tio looked horrible in that fight.
Jermaine Ortiz fought 2 different fights too, though. Like
He
with
did, but
Tio, when Tio
he's a
couldn't
smart
come off the
fighter.
ring. Yeah.
But I think that all this to say is that Lomachenko still hovers around the pound for pound list, right?
Yep.
So after this win against Kambosos, I look at Lomachenko now that
higher than
Navarrete lost.
Shakur?
It's the fight to make. Navarrete fucked around and lost.
That's still fucking weird to me. That went so under the radar because it happened after Fury.
Yeah, like nobody really talked about Navarrete losing in the manner
Top
that
rank is in a fucked up spot.
So,
because Robesi Ramirez loses a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Navarrete loses now. And it's just like,
you have to find a way to do Lomachenko versus Shakur. To me, Lomachenko has 2 fights left. Maybe 3.
He could probably go collect that other belt that Navarrete just lost.
I don't even know if he wants it. Like, what's the point? Like, I think.
You still don't think undisputed is the goal?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know against Baranchik. Like, it's a Ukrainian fighter.
Yeah.
Like, do you really want
We're
to
not going to fight? No.
Like, these are the homies, man. Like, we were on the same
That'd have to be
team.
some Shakur shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're looking at Shakur and you're like, I can fight that guy. Fight everybody wants to see.
And then Shakur could be like, then I could go against Baranchik.
Right. Like, is that, and I know everybody's calling for the Tank fight. I don't know how big, I don't know where that fight would land at in terms of weight.
This is the first time, because you're spot on. Loma has like 2 more fights.
Yeah, you can't do much more.
And he's not getting younger. The skills aren't diminishing yet, but he's not getting younger. I'd argue this is the first time Tank needs somebody in like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Where it's equal. Like, you know what? These other 2 guys that are like in my peer group have that name on their resume. And he ain't going to be around much longer. And now Shakur can have that name on his resume. You know what? I need that. Let me put an offer down. No, I want that fight. Shakur, again, Kerr, you want to go do something, you go fight Baranchik. And you wait. And then you get the winner of me and Loma. And we got 3 belts and you get in 20% because we're going to big dog you. And cut Shakur off at the knees.
I think Gervonta is in this very interesting place and nobody's really talking about yet, where there's a reason why they put Benavidez in that co-main event. There's a reason. There is not a lot of confidence that Tank versus Frank Martin can sell out the MGM. There's just not.
Oof.
Like, Benavidez makes up for whatever Tank can't sell.
Yeah, hands down.
Right? They didn't do it by accident. They didn't do it just to stack a card. It's not even at T-Mobile. It's at the MGM. And it speaks to how many people don't know or don't care about Frank Martin, right? But also and Leonard LB will probably argue us down about this. Tank has been good when you put him in certain places, right? Yeah. But fighting Frank Martin, as Floyd will tell you from back in the day, 2 black fighters are very difficult to sell. It's really hard.
And Leonard knows this.
He knows it, but he'll act like he don't. And I love Leonard, but he's a promoter. But the reality is, David Benavidez did not land on that card by accident. He didn't. Yeah. They knew what they were doing. They were like, yeah, Tank Frank Martin, maybe sell 7,000 tickets. Maybe 5, 6, maybe. Because Frank fought at the Cosmo, couldn't sell that shit out.
I was about to say, like he was at the Cosmo.
That's what I'm saying. Cosmo
it's a jump.
Don't hold more than 3,000 people. Now, Gervonta, why he's a draw, and it's June 15th, but they needed a safeguard, which is David Benavidez. And David Benavidez sells these extra tickets. To your point, it makes you wonder, even if Gervonta smokes Frank Martin, that ain't the name that's going to get him the recognition of a Lomachenko or Shakur or any of those guys. Frank is cool. They're just keeping Gervonta active, but he needs to fight somebody worth fighting. Ryan Garcia don't count. Not anymore. You've already done that. You got to fight a legitimate boxer.
Yeah.
I don't know when he does it. I don't know if he does it, but they to your point, he is in a position where he's got to be looking and be like, yo, I got to fight Lomachenko. These guys got to come now. Like, I'm not the draw. Like, I'm a draw, but I'm not the draw that they making me out to be. I can't sell on my own. I need an opponent.
He can't. He can sell. He can sell his markets on his own very well, where they are a little bit boxing starved. DC or DMV area,
Sure.
he can sell Atlanta, even LA in a good weekend or big enough. But Ryan was there.
Yep.
So there you're bringing a lot of cross mixture of fans. So with Vegas, it's smart to have a little Vegas help. It's like throwing Caleb playing here. Like Caleb got a presence in the city. Like that's someone that could help you sell your card in Vegas too, right? Like Benavidez is going to bring him out. The weirdest thing is, and I get it, there's a lot of pay-per-views this month. It's a lot of money. But not having it on a Memorial Day weekend, a Labor Day week. Hell, honestly, this is the first year the UFC isn't running 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
I not having it on a 3-day weekend, because black folks love Tank, but not enough to use PTO or miss a day of work.
Nope.
But on a 3-day weekend, you could have got some people out.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, granted, this is the first time, again, UFC hasn't run that date. So I'm not sure if they would have known. But with fireworks, all this shit, Tank fight, 4th of July would have been crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
But I guess they shut down the strip too. So that's like a whole different shit.
there's a lot going on. Like Independence Day weekend. So obviously the week before is now McGregor versus Chandler and International Fight Week, which is trending to be this ridiculous game, which is crazy. That we'll say that for the MMA show, like how well this thing is selling. But these tickets are outrageous, and people are buying them. But it is what it
WME don't
is.
give a fuck anymore.
No, they
WME
don't.
is like, yo, we're running the price up.
But yeah, man. I mean, June 15th is such a meh date. Like, the fuck is this date about? And it's the MGM. Again, it's not T-Mobile, it's the MGM,
No.
which selfishly I prefer because I love fights at the MGM.
Urban Loitering is going to be intact.
Yeah, like it's just I'm interested to see how this all shakes out. All that being said, I fully expect Gervonta to win. It's just now you got to look at Lomachenko, Shakur. Like, you need a name, and you need one soon.
So we'll end on this note then. And it's boxing. There's no conspiracy theories in boxing. Anything is possible. But Tank and Floyd have been going back and forth a lot on social, right? It seems like they got beef, sides are split, but Leonard's still helping out Tank in whatever regard it is as an advisor. And the degrees of separation still very small. Is there a chance this is a work?
No.
When I saw the MGM, doesn't this seem as though it's going to be I want to take over the place that Floyd had his name on the side, and we're going to see Tank's face and then the home of Gervonta Davis on the side of the MGM, and he's quote unquote going to be do it to stick it to Mayweather, because for a while Gervonta was a bad boy, and now the opponents aren't stacking up to make anything interesting. But one thing Floyd does still is he have a lot of people that hate him, that paid a lot of money for a lot of years to see him lose and always think he's the bad guy. It seems very pro wrestling to me. It's like, are you working me? Are you getting Gervonta over by making Floyd his feud and now opponents don't even matter?
Nah. I think this is a situation where we've seen this with like the Adrian Broners of the world. They think I can be Floyd until they got to be Floyd.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think Gervonta believes that he can't lose. And I don't think Gervonta thinks about the business aspect of it. Like Floyd, like, say what you want about Floyd Mayweather. The man was brilliant in how he handled his boxing matters. What he did in collaboration, excuse me, with Leonard Ellerby, now Heyman, and picking his opponents, picking the right dates to fight these opponents, and changing the narrative from wanting to see Floyd win to paying to see Floyd lose was brilliant. It started with Oscar. Gervonta's in a spot where he believes he can be better than Floyd. He believes that he doesn't need Floyd. And that may very well be true. But just because you don't need Floyd don't mean you can be Floyd or better than Floyd. The game is changed, and I don't think this is a work. I think there's real heat between these two, because I truly believe that Floyd tries to tell Gervonta what to do, and Gervonta's like, "Fuck you, old man. I ain't listening." There's friction because of it.
Yeah, like I know better.
And it's the reason why, like, they've gotten Tank this far, but the rest he's got to do on his own, for better or worse. And here we are. He's fighting Frank Martin. And Floyd's looking like, all right, well, I wouldn't have picked him on June 15th. Yep. But you did. Go for it. See what you can do. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to monitor, see how that fight does and performs. Tank, for better or worse, unlike anyone else to this degree, is still really, really judged on his pay-per-view numbers. They live by the pay-per-view, died by the pay-per-view. So gate pay-per-view numbers, that's what they bring to the table, even over belts. And now we're seeing a world where we're moving further and further away from that. It's getting more and more diminished.
Yeah. And we're in a world where what I don't think a lot of these guys understand is Floyd wasn't forced to fight anybody. Now, thanks to guys like, look, say what you want about him, Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
Who's like, I ain't waiting to fight you motherfuckers. Let's do it now.
I'll take 30.
It's changing the game. Don't nobody want to wait anymore. And I love it. I love Ryan Garcia's attitude. Don't like he took, PEDs, whatever. But the man said, look, Gervonta, I want to fight you now. Look, Devin, I want to fight you now. We're in our 20s. I want to fight you now. Ashton Sylvie, HTO Sylvie, and Floyd Schofield are fighting on the undercard of Tyson Jake Paul.
And that's a ridiculously good fight for these young guys. So young.
Like they're so young, but they don't want to wait anymore. Because in this era of social media and how we treat everything, we ain't got time. Like, this era of social media wouldn't have put up with Floyd shit.
No.
Like, even though Mayweather Pacquiao happened during when Twitter was like kind of at its peak, but if it would have happened now and played it, like, let's just say, because Twitter's not at its peak now, but Instagram, TikTok, and everything else is.
Yeah.
Let's just say the Mayweather Pacquiao thing really got hot in 2017, 2018. Social media people wouldn't have waited until 2024 for that fucking fight to happen.
No.
They would have torched everybody for that.
Floyd wouldn't have waited. Like,
no, he'd have been forced to.
Now the risk is worth the reward.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone's seeing, is that Ryan got dropped with a body punch, made a shitload of money. But he was just like, all right, my star's diminished a little bit. But if I can do enough to get another big fight, fuck it, I'll risk it again. And he wins. And he's on a marathon tour right now of celebrating. PD's shrugged that shit right off. Everything he's done, whatever. He's rapping to an orangutan in a car, feeding it grapes. Like, there's a whole different level of, I could lose. And it's a little weird. But if I win, social media fame, everything through the roof, endorsements, my entire profile can change. So why am I waiting? If I do this at 23, I can make this money for the next 10. If I wait until I'm 33, Crawford, I got to cram this shit into 3 years.
Nah, man, just fight now. I mean, it also helps that Saudi's been very interested in just like, hey, man, fuck you guys waiting. His Excellency is like, yo, y'all fight next month. No, we not. Here's $50 million. Okay, we fight next week. It's kind of the way it is. Like,
whatever you want.
Yeah, the game has changed. Like, nobody. So in the case of Gervonta Davis, it's while everybody else is fighting each other, you're the only one who's not. Like, Naoya Inoue is fighting everybody. Vasily Lomachenko's fighting everybody. Tiafimo's
Yep.
fighting everybody. Devin, Usyk, Terrence even fought Errol Spence. Javante, you can't sit here and do this. Bam Rodriguez is fighting everybody. He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah, it's life-changing money. There's no reason not to.
Like,
What you would have made between the ages of 21 and 26 5 years ago in boxing, you can make it a night. If if in Saudi there's like, and His Excellency like, yo, I just want to see you and you. What's your number? 30 mil. You know how long it took Floyd to make 30 mil?
very long time.
It's ridiculous. Oh, you can make that in a night now. Oh, you're 23? I don't care. I just want to see this.
Yep.
Deontay Wilder's still getting checks. He has tons of losses. It doesn't matter. This is the time. Get your bag. Fight everything. And if you can get through this unscathed, like Fury-Usyk happens, Fury gets a loss. All right. He's 31-1-1. If he runs it back, 31-2-1, that's not bad. That ain't stopping shit. If he fights AJ and beats AJ, so what? No one's going to remember any of that, and he's going to walk away with 3 lifetimes of money. You don't think we see Conor McGregor box again now that the Saudis are in here?
Maybe.
I mean, Saudi Arabia is getting more UFC cards every year. You can't tell me that doesn't help finally get Conor McGregor back in the ring, even though he's not fighting there. You know, it's added capital. WWE, they have more money to sign people, to do different shows, to do different things. You can do all of these because of those resources. Boxing is no different. So it's one of those things where Tank, sooner or later, if he's about that money, you're going to be boxed in. And it's, if you're not doing it for some political shit and just some wholehearted beliefs, then you're just missing out on money for the fact of missing out on money and being stubborn.
Pretty much.
So we'll see how all that plays out. It was one hell of a weekend in boxing. We appreciate everyone. We are back. We are back rolling through everything here. This weekend is going to be pretty fun. We still got to talk about MMA and catch up on a ton of shit there. And then in pro wrestling, it's not WWE pay-per-view week. It's AEW pay-per-view week out here in Vegas. So, we're going to recap all that stuff. And we always love when Double or Nothing comes into town. People have been talking spicy about AEW too. So we have a lot to tackle in terms of what the company means and what has been said on other shows. So that's going to be a good one. We appreciate you all. Check us out on Patreon if you haven't already. We'll find time this week as well, put content up there. Man, people just been asking us to talk about Diddy again. They want us to talk about Cam now, and then they want to talk about all the Diddy stuff that came out that I saw. So we'll find time to talk about that as well. Put that on Patreon this week. For now, though, we appreciate you all. Follow us wherever you guys do for social media. Like and subscribe wherever you guys listen to podcasts as well. We appreciate you. Till next time, we're out.
Peace.